Are you considering switching from an LLC to an S corporation? Well, don't do it, and let me tell you why. It can add more complexity than what you're prepared to deal with. And this video, I am literally going to give you 4 reasons why you may still want to remain an LLC and what your best options really are. And if you stay till the end, I will tell you how to reverse an S-Corp election. Now, let's get after it. The very first thing is new tax filing requirements. If you switch from an LLC to an S corporation, you are going to need to file a corporate tax return. You are actually going to need to file what we call a 1120S return, which means you may actually have to go out and hire somebody that knows how to do business tax returns. That tax return is going to be due on March 15th, not April 15th. And the tax preparation fees are going to be a lot pricier. So something for you to consider is that you're going to have to level up. Number 2, take minutes. If you go from an LLC to an S corporation, you are now going to be required to take corporate minutes. And corporate minutes are these formal documents where you literally have to document who was in your corporate meetings, what was discussed, why you're going to spend money, how you're going to spend money. And you need to make sure that you also put the place and location of the meeting minutes. That is very important. You're going to also have to have a quorum, meaning that if you have members of your actual S-Corp, they all need to be there because you need to have at least the majority of your members present whenever there is a meeting. If you are the only shareholder, then you're going to hold the position as president and secretary and treasurer. You're going to hold all the positions, but you're still going to have to document those minutes of your business operation. You're not going to be able to get away from it, and that is something that IRS is going to require. Number 3, you're going to have to pay yourself a reasonable salary and compensation through your S-Corp. When you were an LLC, you were probably just taking distribution. But now that you are an S-Corp, you're going to actually have to take a salary. That means you're going to have to W-2 yourself, just like you did when you work for an employer. There's going to need to be a paycheck that comes out to you on a regular schedule, whether that's bi-weekly, whether that's weekly, once a month, or it could be one time a year. It is going to need to be a paycheck. And you need to make sure that you pay yourself reasonable compensation. And reasonable compensation is determined by if someone else was doing your job, what would they get paid? Or at least 30% of your net profit is reasonable compensation. That's what IRS is going to look at. So for example, if your profit is $100,000 a year, reasonable compensation is going to be 30% of that. So 30% means you're going to have to pay yourself $30,000 in wages on a W-2. And it's important that you make sure you do that. Number 4, new record keeping requirements. That's right, you have now leveled up. An LLC is a more simple form of business, but once you get to a corporation, you now have to level up your record keeping. You're going to need to keep a profit and loss and a balance sheet. A profit and loss is a record of all the income you made plus all the expenses that you have, categorized according to typical IRS categories. When you look at Form 1120S, which is used to file an S-Corp return, you're going to note on that form that there's a place for wages, there's a place for rent, there's a place for insurance. You want to make sure that those items are filled in appropriately, and your categories need to kind of match what it is that an S corporation does from a framework perspective. In addition to that, you have to keep your balance sheet. A balance sheet is where you're tracking all the assets of your business, the bank account, who owes you money, the equipment. Those are the assets plus the liabilities, who you owe. You may owe credit cards. You may actually have a loan. You got to keep track of all that, because when you are a corporation, your books need to balance. It's not just about income in and expenses going out. It's making sure that you are not misappropriating funds. And IRS will look at that in the event of an audit. That is why it is so important that when you make that switch from an LLC to an S corporation, that you bear in mind all of the things that you need to now start doing. A new filing requirement, making sure that you're taking minutes, making sure that you pay yourself a reasonable salary, and making sure that you have adequate books and records. And IRS is not going to allow you to say you did not know, because as you go from a sole proprietor to an LLC to an S-Corp, your knowledge has to increase, and IRS is going to hold you to that standard. And here's the thing. I told you that if you stay to the end, that I would tell you how to reverse an S-Corp election. If you have an S-Corp election, before you file the first tax return for that business, you want to write a letter to IRS and tell them that you would like for your S-Corp election to be reversed. Then you're not going to file an S-Corp return. You're going to continue to file your LLC tax return. The IRS will then send you back a letter acknowledging the reversal, but you're only going to get a reversal if you have not filed an S-Corp tax return yet. I also want you to remember that when you make an S election, that election is there for 5 years. IRS will not allow you to reverse it for at least 5 years. So you have to make sure you jump on a reversal as soon as possible, because once that return goes in, you will not be able to reverse that election. Now that you know better, you absolutely have to do better. That is why I want you to like, comment, and subscribe so that I can keep you updated on all things tax. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. I also want to introduce you to a program that I have called Tax Pro Grow. Why? Because you may be looking for a side hustle, you may be looking for a business to run, you may be looking for some extra cash, or you just might be concerned about this whole recession thing, or somebody giving you a pink slip. Well, Tax Pro Grow could potentially be your answer, because it's a business that you can do where no one is in charge but you. And here's the great thing about Tax Pro Grow. You don't need to have a tax license. You don't need to have tax knowledge. You don't need to have a degree. You don't need anything but a willingness to learn. And I break down all the steps through my system and process. I literally take my 25 years of experience, all the mistakes I made, all the lessons I've learned, and I packaged it up in a system and process that is foolproof, that you will be able to utilize and start making money. I literally guarantee it. I am going to invite you to join me on this journey of Tax Pro Grow, because I want you to start making an endless amount of money, and I want you to be in control of your destiny. If you are interested in starting now, I want you to click on the link. And when you do, you're going to learn everything that you need to know. You're going to learn how to offer the service. You're going to learn how to sell a client. You're going to learn how to do marketing. And here's the other great thing. You will even get leads, because we offer that too. People that are willing to pay you for the service that you're going to easily be able to offer, because the value is going to be there. So if you need some extra cash, you want to make an endless amount of money, or you just thinking, maybe you just want to do something different, click on that link and join me for the Tax Pro Grow program. I guarantee you, you'll be thanking me for doing so.